fundamental principle in the manual is the duty to distinguish between military objectives and civilian objectives. Attack must be directed solely at military. This is very important to understand, that attack should not be any civilian target, but it should solely be aimed on any opponent military target. And precautions must be taken to minimize civilian casualties and civilian losses. This is very important. And then is a blockade and naval operations. What is a blockade and what are the naval operations? But these all things which we are talking about, these are during the warfare, during the naval war in the sea. The manual provides guidelines on the legality of blockades. You know, no ship can block the international waters, or no ship can block the route, voyage traveling of any other ship which he can enjoy the right as a commercial ship. During war, even they are not supposed to block the routes of certain commercial or merchant vessels which have the right to sail. So, manual provides guidelines for the legality of blockades. How much extent you can extend your blockade, and from which extent your right to block the routes is limited and finishes. So this provides in that way. The rights of neutral states are very fundamental. This manual also ensures that the neutral states which have no conflict between the fighting forces in the sea, they have their right to carry on their economic activity and their marine activity. They should be protected and conduct the naval operations. Naval operations are conducted according to this manual, specifically focusing on their own naval aims and targets. That includes the use of force. Use of force should not be applied on any non-naval, non-warship. It should not be applied on commercial or merchant warship or any fishing warship which are not involved in the warship. Now, the protection of humanitarian assistance is also very fundamental, which has been ensured during the wartime or warfare. This manual, the San Remo manual, also provides you the protection. Wherever it is necessary that humanitarian assistance has to reach and should be reached, should be supplied, medicines, food, water, and many other life-saving things. If those are to be supplied for humanitarian assistance, those are not to be restricted. Those have to be given way and given route for supplying these areas. So the manual emphasizes the importance of allowing humanitarian assistance to reach civilian affected by conflict at sea, reflecting the commitment of humanitarian principles. It's very important to understand. There are certain humanitarian principles. For example, you're fighting, you want to kill others, you want to destroy others, but till that time the person is fighting against you, that kills you or you kill him, till that time both have the right to breathe, both have the right to live, and if wounded, both have the right to be treated. And so is the civilian who is not involved, and so are the civilian or the merchant ships who are not involved in any naval warfare. They have the right to be protected. Therefore, these protection of humanitarian assistance is very much fundamental and is adhered during the wartime in oceans and seas. And last but not the least, we have to understand that environmental consideration is very important. San Remo Manual also addresses the environmental impact of naval warfare, recognizing the need to protect the marine environment during armed conflict. As I told you already, that impact on water, if we throw 1 pound on ground, that has 1 pound's impact. But if you throw that 1 pound in the sea or in the water, that raises to the 10 times. That means 1 pound raised by 10 pounds. So 1 pound impact on the ground, that impacts 10 pounds in the sea when it is thrown in the sea. So whenever there is a warfare in the sea, navies are fighting, warships are fighting, there's armed conflict in the sea, there's huge loss in the environment of the sea, because that environment is polluted because of the weapons being used and the blood being shed, and many other chemicals are being discharged. And so the bombs and the missiles and whatever the gunnery is being fired, those impact in the sea with the sound, with the weight effect, that gives that much fatal impact to the marine life. Many fish do die, many marine life do kill. Those are very heavy losses to the marine life, and ultimately this is environmental hazard. So this San Remo manual also ensures that San Remo manual also addresses the environmental impact of naval warfare, because it recognizes the need to impact the marine environment during war. Now there are certain recent developments also, and where there are development, there are certain challenges. So we'll discuss 2-3 recent developments in the scientific furtherance. That is, there were the wars being conducted in sea. Those were very conventional. Fighting maybe by arms, by weapons, by guns, and man-to-man fight, swords fight, and or killing by somewhat developed. But the latest developments, the technological development, has focused the warfare to be very technical, to be very fatal, to be very harmful, to be very dangerous, both for human losses and for the marine losses, maritime environmental losses. So today, the first development is that wars are being fought in a hybrid manner. So we can quote it as hybrid warfare. The rise of hybrid threats, where state and non-state actors employ both conventional and unconventional tactics, complicate the application of traditional maritime law.